It's been what, 4 years since the first part of this video called How to Be a Freelance Graphic Designer Without Losing Your Shit. And so far, as of today, it has garnered about 7,000 views, which I'm really proud of. I'm going to call that one of my greatest hits. But now, fast forward to 2024, a lot of things have changed. I had new realizations. So I thought, well, maybe it would be really best to create a part two. So it's back. I have better, newer, fresher perspectives and things learned along the way that I hope can help you. And can we just acknowledge that the first video had very little to no production value? I was just recording it on a Zoom. Actually, I'm still recording this on a Zoom, but I got new gear. It's clearer. My space is much more inspiring. If there's anything you can take from this so far is that you can succeed in freelancing if you want to. And I'm so excited to share with you that this video is brought to you by my portfolio. I have recently redesigned my portfolio. I did a little bit of rebranding, kind of changed my brand colors a little bit. Yeah, because I was kind of inactive on it for a few years because I was not getting any traffic at all. But obviously, a website portfolio is much more professional looking and looks prettier. So, feel free to check it out. I have a new domain, it's audreysopoko.me. So let's dive right into it. How to be a self-taught freelance graphic designer without losing your part two. You will never be ready. So whenever I hear my friends or just people I know in life who say that they want to go freelancing, they say something like, I'm not ready yet. The thing is, you will never be ready. So might as well just dive right into it. Why? Because you're going to experience things and situations that you have not prepared for. What are you going to do about this kind of what happens when the project doesn't go as planned? You're probably going to make some mistakes along the way or encounter things that are beyond your control. So, just don't be afraid of trying. And with this being said, I found that my process changed over time. Like for every project I have, it's a constant state of trial and error. I found my process changing constantly because when you're self-employed, you have little to no mentorship. No one really teaches you how to do things. No one is telling you what is right or wrong. And by changing your process, you're simplifying things and making things better for you and your client's experience. And also, along the lines of this, please conduct project audits. I've started doing this because there are some things that obviously I didn't see coming, some unexpected things. So now what I do is that every time I finish a project, I write down things where I feel like I could have done better in. Like, is there something that I failed to communicate to the client, or were they confused about something, and things like that, especially with regards to payment and deliverables. So once you get to figure out those, you can make the changes necessary in your own operations. One of the most dreaded things of every freelance person is the feast and famine cycle. You're just going to go through the famine cycle whether you like it or not. If you haven't gone through that, you're very lucky. Please comment below what your secret is. But yeah, sometimes you can go months without clients, and that's just the reality of being a freelancer. But what do you do when you have no work? I would suggest using your time very wisely. You're not just going to sit there and wait. I'm still trying to make marketing fun for me. Although, what I'm doing here right now, yes, I do find this fun. I like talking, but I realized that clients never really have found me because of some blog post or some YouTube video that I did. It was never about the content that I do. It's really about the work that I publish. So it really is about finding out what worked for you. If you're a content creator, you post videos on TikTok or whichever, then yeah, I suggest sticking to that. So when I don't have a client, I either do personal projects or I'm doing some upskilling. And communication skills are so, so, so important in this job. Because I believe that if you're self-employed, you aren't only going to be hired for your work alone. A beautiful portfolio can only do so much with, in terms of your client relationships. So with this, I do think that I do think that my communication is one of my strongest assets. And because freelancing is a global thing, English is obviously, you're going to have to sharpen your English skills. But if you're like me, English is not your first language, that's totally okay. You don't have to be like C2 bilingual level. As long as you can get your point across and you're very respectful in your tone and the client understands what you're trying to say, you're good to go. And along with that, I would also encourage you to be a better reader and listener. You can listen to people you like, artists, celebrities, entrepreneurs, the way they talk about their own work. Really take inspiration from that. So I like listening to interviews, podcasts. I know we as designers, as creative people, we tend to get really precious about our work. Sometimes we'd like to stick to our own ideas, even if it doesn't really align with the clients. But before you defend yourself, learn how to empathize with your client. Because after all, their business is their baby. And if it is their first business, they're going to be even more precious about it, probably even more than you. So you have to make the client feel like, hey, I understand and I'm totally on your side and I totally see what you're trying to get into, but dot 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 dot. And then always leave difficult conversations on a positive note, because sometimes there will be creative differences, whether, and it is very rarely when a client approves designs on the first try. So if a client gives you a negative feedback, please don't get defensive about it. What do you mean you don't like it? You have to understand your client's perspective first thing. They would really appreciate someone who is more of a team player than someone who is coming to their defense. Have a clear process that your clients can follow. So before the contract signing, the payment, I almost always, not almost always, I always outline the entire process of the particular project in the proposal, right? So I have there the milestone, the turnaround time. So say strategy session, this would take me to create about 5 days. So yeah, just give them an idea. You don't have to put like specific dates on them because you can't really control timing, but just give the client an expectation of how long certain things are going to take. Use project portals to make things more accessible to your clients. Um, Project portals have been quite a time saver for me, to be honest. And in there, I put our Zoom links so that they don't have to ask for the link again and again. It's just there. And what else? I have a project tracker over there. And in that project tracker, it has the milestone and the date, the completion date. And if it happens that I need more time, I let the client know that, hey, I'm changing this date. Please check it. Sometimes the client doesn't bother to check the project tracker, which I guess is a good thing. It means that they trust you. But yeah, it's more really about transparency. So we're probably not very conscious of this, but watch out for the way you talk about your own work. And I guess this is a reminder to myself as well. Personally, I would like to get rid of using the words like, what am I, I spice like, or vibe, energy, aesthetic. Like, why am I saying those words? Because it's so vague and almost like, I guess, in my opinion, uncertain, and it makes me sound unprofessional. So yeah, just watch how you talk about your own word. Watch out for your tone. If you need to practice it, then go ahead. But at the same time, don't be afraid to inject your own personality. We need to talk about money. If you get a big project, and I'm talking about like, two, three, $5,000, whatever is big in your currency, set aside a chunk of it to your bills ASAP, like 6 months probably. If you can save up to a year, that's great, but that's probably stretching it because you need bills for the rainy days. And if you don't get a job for the next 3 months, for example, at least you have some cushion. Now I can just enjoy the money that I gained from this project. So yeah, with that being said, prioritize saving and paying yourself first. I'm not a financial guru, so that's just what I'm going to say about the money aspect of this. But if times are tough and you need to accept a smaller project, and I have certainly done that before, ask yourself what is the minimum or like the smallest amount of project you can take, or how is this project going to look in my portfolio? And even though client projects are fun, I would really enjoy right now, like in my situation, I would really enjoy working with a team, honestly, because I had the privilege of working with this agency last year, and I really did enjoy working with them because I worked on 3 projects with them and I was passed around different people. So that was really fun. I get to meet new people. Um, yeah, in my mind, things really did go well with them. In fact, one of them reached out to me earlier this year. It's just that the project didn't push through. Always have something to look forward to. I don't know what that is. What do you like? It can be a trip to somewhere, upgrading your workspace, a new gadget, whatever. Just have something to look forward to. I think it serves as a motivation of your hard work. You have a reason to show up every day. Next, slowly but surely pivot to another skill, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I still love graphic design. I love branding and packaging, but sometimes, you got to keep up with the pace of the design world. And, if you want to generate more income, have a more enjoyable life, you should upskill. So whether that's illustration, UI, UX design, web design, or in my case, motion design, yeah, just practice every day, show up, gradually hone that skill. You don't expect yourself to be a master in the first couple of months. One way I prepare for a project is I create this thing which I call an execution checklist. So say I have my main task right here and I have a subtask. Okay, how am I gonna execute this? The reason I do that is because when you're sitting in front of your computer and you're about to start some type of work, thinking about how to start or how to execute things is such a waste of time. Like thinking, overthinking things is a waste of time. It's not very productive for me. So it's more of like mentally preparing yourself for the work. Invest in your health. There's a lot of self discipline when it comes to freelancing. And I'm not saying that I'm the healthiest person, but it's like you have to prioritize your health, whether that's getting good sleep, eating better, working out 3 to 5 times a week. You're like this one person company or a one person agency. So you have to create healthier habits that will sharpen your mind, will clear your mind. Detach yourself from your job by being interested in other things. Listen, designers, we are very emotionally attached to our job because it's so creative, it's so fulfilling, and I totally get that. But you have to be interested in other things because once you're not doing anything that's related to design, who are you? I like to create random dishes. I like to music. That's a secret of mine, but yeah, I'd love to create music. I'm a reader. I'm a huge reader. I read something every day. Yeah, something like that. You know, it can be a sport or anything, a recreational activity. It's just something that's gonna get you more in tune with yourself so that your job is not your entire identity. And per my last point, with all this being said, sometimes you just feel demotivated, uninspired. When you're feeling those things, when you're feeling demotivated, remember why you started. So yeah, I'm not your therapist, by the way, but it's just some things that I have learned along the way since my first video. And I hope you enjoy this, learn something. Please comment below which part of this video you truly resonated with and allowed to have that conversation with you. So yeah, that's it for this video. And like, subscribe, you know the drill. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.